Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a seriously fascinating source document that basically conducts a strict materials science audit of Angkor Wat. We're looking at a totally different take on its true purpose, completely reimagining ancient architecture through the lens of modern physics and engineering. It's going to be a wild ride. So, before we just blindly accept the mainstream historical narrative, our source asks us to pause for a second. What do the hard mathematics and physics actually tell us about this colossal structure? The text we're analyzing today argues that if we look at Angkor Wat like, say, an MIT engineer, a completely different and frankly astonishing picture emerges. Part 1. The mainstream myth. The contrast we're looking at here is pretty stark. Now, the accepted history. It says King Suryavarman II built this complex in the 12th century as a traditional Hindu temple. But the materials science audit from our source material argues that this idea just absolutely collapses under the sheer, staggering weight of the physical evidence. I mean, we're talking about 10 million tons of highly specific quartz-rich stone layered in a very deliberate, almost mechanical way. Part 2. The piezoelectric circuit. Okay, so our source brilliantly maps the architectural features of Angkor Wat directly to electrical functions. Check this out. The iron-rich laterite foundation isn't just structural. The audit argues it actually acts as a ferromagnetic grounding layer to attract the Earth's natural telluric currents. Then, the overlying quartz-rich sandstone acts as a huge piezoelectric transducer. And that famous 3-mile moat, while our source identifies it as a massive hydrological dielectric capacitor, literally specifically designed to trap the resulting electromagnetic field so it doesn't just bleed out into the Cambodian jungle. To really wrap our heads around how this works, we've got to look at the math. The source points us directly to the piezoelectric equation. Basically, as the Earth's telluric currents flow through that iron foundation, the mechanical vibration physically squeezes the overlying quartz. You know, it's kind of like those light-up sneakers you had as a kid, where the mechanical pressure of your foot hitting the ground creates a tiny electrical spark. Well, this mechanical stress alters the crystal lattice of the quartz at Angkor Wat, generating a localized electromagnetic field. It's not magic, guys. It's a physical law governed perfectly by this exact equation. Now, what I found genuinely fascinating in the text is that this isn't just some theoretical ancient history. Modern industry actually relies on this exact same energy harvesting physics today. In fact, these specific mechanics are currently protected under U.S. Patent 4320314A for piezoelectric generators. The big argument here is that the builders of Angkor Wat were literally applying a macroscopic version of modern patented energy tech. Moving on to Part 3. The Helmholtz resonator math. So, the audit argues that the entire Angkor Wat complex is mathematically forced to act as a macroscopic Helmholtz resonator. If you're wondering what that is, a Helmholtz resonator is essentially a container with an open hole. Think of blowing air across the top of an empty glass bottle to make that deep humming sound. The geometry of the temple plugs perfectly into this undeniable acoustic equation, which calculates the resonant frequency of air inside a cavity. Let's actually plug the building's dimensions into that equation for a second. By utilizing the towering 65-meter central lotus tower as the primary resonant cavity, so that's our volume, or V, and those crazy 200-meter-long enclosed stone galleries as the acoustic tuning ports, which gives us our area and length, the source claims the builders engineered a mathematically perfect acoustic machine. And here's where it gets wild. The crucial point is the resulting number, 110 Hz. When you run the math on those exact geometric ratios, it mathematically forces the entire 10 million ton structure to ring continuously at a baseline frequency of 110 Hz. According to the source text, this specific 110 Hz frequency is actually a recurring signature in ancient megalithic sites, often described as a guardian frequency that's known to elevate human consciousness and interact directly with the human biofield. Part 4. The 2012 LiDAR revelation. The true, terrifying scale of this structure remained totally hidden until the Khmer Archaeology LiDAR Consortium deployed military-grade lasers over the jungle in 2012, and again in 2015. LiDAR is just an incredible technology. By relying on the precise time-of-flight equation you see here, it fired millions of near-infrared photons to literally strip away the dense jungle canopy. And what it revealed is what the audit considers the ultimate smoking gun, hidden right beneath the dirt. Part 5. The CPU of Mahendraparvata. What the LiDAR uncovered completely and violently shifts our understanding of this site's true purpose. we are definitely no longer just looking at a single temple. The topographic data revealed a continuous, macroscopic printed circuit board spanning an absolutely massive 737 square miles beneath the Cambodian dirt. I mean, let that scale sink in for a moment. That's huge. Hidden right beneath the surface was the ancient city of Mahendraparvata. The scan showed a vast network of perfectly straight, laser-cut subterranean highways, massive rectangular dielectric water reservoirs, and a completely interconnected infrastructure. Imagine the motherboard inside your smartphone, right? But scaled up to the size of a massive county. The source argues this layout heavily suggests that the Temple of Angkor Wat is actually just the exposed central processing unit, the CPU, of an entire terraformed geological region designed to operate as a massive, water-cooled acoustic machine. And just to ensure we're grounding all of this in actual peer-reviewed fieldwork, consider the words of Dr. Damian Evans, one of the leading researchers on the LiDAR project. He stated, "We identified an entire city, revealing a highly complex urban landscape that connected temple cities to one another." His reaction perfectly corroborates the sheer unbelievable scale of this newly discovered network, even if mainstream academic circles still view it as a sprawling urban center rather than a giant circuit.
Part 6. The Pre-Diluvian Blueprints.
Okay, to deliver a final verdict on who actually built this thing, the source text zooms out from the geological level and goes straight to the astronomical level. The physical layout of these primary temples doesn't just form some random grid. The text points out that they mirror the constellation of Draco. But, and here's the massive catch, they don't match the sky as it appeared in the 12th century. No, they perfectly align with the Draco constellation exactly as it appeared in the sky in 10,500 BCE. The source notes this matches the exact pre-Diluvian astronomical epoch of the Sphinx in Egypt. Which brings us to the audit's ultimate, mind-bending conclusion. The official narrative simply doesn't fit the physical evidence. The text argues that the 12th century kings did not build Angkor Wat. Instead, they simply discovered and claimed a surviving piece of pre-Diluvian, high-energy acoustic hardware that somehow made it through the Younger Dryas cataclysm. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final, massive question to consider based on the audit we just walked through. If we entertain the source's conclusion that the hard math and those LiDAR scans point to Angkor Wat being the CPU of an ancient 737 square mile pre-Diluvian machine, what else about the true timeline of human technological evolution might be sitting right beneath our feet, just waiting to be scanned? Thanks so much for joining me, and keep questioning what you think you know.